Today. My name is Alex, and I am a teacher in Vietnam. I've been in Vietnam for over 10 years now. Oh, really? Yeah, my mic is not connected. I'm having an issue with my charger. Let me try a different way. Give me 1 second. Yes. I am alone today. How are you? How are you? Thank you for joining. How are you? The charger is not working when I plug in my mic. I guess we'll do without the mic today, if that's okay. Can you hear me okay? I'm very well, Phoenix. Thank you for your question. How are you today? So today we will do some pronunciation practice. Yes, I do remember you, Phoenix. I remember at, what was it? American school. I forgot the name of the school. Saigon American School, SAS, right? I was your teacher there. Sadly, I think they went out of business, right? But I do remember you, so I hope you're okay. I hope your English is good. Again, my name is Alex. I am the director of the IELTS Hackers English course, and it's very exciting news for you. We have our demo from our IT partners in Dom Nai, Lac Home University, have been helping us to develop our app. So we're coming out with an app very soon. We received the demo and we're testing it now. So we've given it to some people at our company, some teachers, some of our students, and we're doing some beta testing. And then soon we're gonna open it to the public. So this is a beginner English course. And it's a course that I wrote together with some other teachers. And we wrote a book, and then we created an online course. So it has videos, it has interactive activities, games, and a very special thing is it has an AI scoring system. So you can speak into the app, you can write and answer questions, and the AI scoring system will provide you some feedback. So that will be coming very soon. I hope you can have access to it and join. I think it's going to help a lot of people. So, Mr. Travis Doang says, where are you from? Thank you, Travis. I am from Chicago, USA. My state is Illinois. And I'm from Chicago. And I've been living in Cùng Thầy, Vietnam for over 10 years. I'm basically Vietnamese now. I eat Vietnamese food. I speak a little Vietnamese, Xin Chào. And I really love it here. I work here. I have a family now here. This is my home. So I hope to interact with more of you guys. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. It's great to do these live streams. I think that there's just a lot of people out there in Vietnam who want to improve their English. And I'm more than happy to help people any way that I can. with pronunciation or speaking practice, and even reading, writing, and listening. Any way I can. It's just been such a privilege and so fulfilling to me to help Vietnamese people improve their English, because I have received so much from living here. I've received so much, lessons and friendly people, and made new relationships, and learned so much about the beautiful culture here, that it's really great for me to be able to give back and help people improve their English, because I know that it opens doors. It provides opportunities for Vietnamese people, and not only that, it provides opportunities for the world, right? I mean, Vietnamese people are special. I think that Vietnamese people have something special to offer to the world. They're resilient. They have a great spirit. They're very intelligent. They're hardworking. They have grit, meaning they work through adversity. And one barrier to offering that to other countries is the language, right? So to travel, to work, to study in another country, you need IELTS, you need PTE, possibly even Duolingo if you're going to America. So a lot of Vietnamese, that's a barrier, right? And so if we can break through that barrier, that's not only good for Vietnamese people, that's good for the world, right? Because you're exposing the world to this wonderful group of people, this wonderful culture, and it's just a good thing. So today we'll be doing some pronunciation practice. We'll keep it simple, and we'll also do some just IELTS speaking practice. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. I will answer some questions to just show you kind of how maybe a native speaker would answer these questions, and then I'll open it up to you guys. And if you want to join, you can click the button to request for multi-guest, and I will choose some people. You can answer a question, and I will give you some feedback on your English for free. A free English class. How great is that? So let's get started. If you guys have any questions, just comment, and I'll answer your questions as I go. So, all right, let's begin. Oh, so Mr. Tom Daly says, I really want to go abroad after hearing you. Yeah, you should. I mean, just one tip I have is you could go to Cambodia, right? You could, if you don't have much time and you don't really have the chance to go to like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, or America, you can go right over to Cambodia. You have to use your English unless you speak Kampuchea. If you go to Cambodia, if you go to Phnom Penh, many people there speak English, so you could go there and practice your English as a Vietnamese person. It's pretty much free, I believe, if you're Vietnamese. You don't need a visa. So that's one opportunity. Just go over to Kampuchea and you can practice your English. So it's just great. Yeah, it's a great opportunity and great experience to go to another country, to learn about different cultures, to, helps you not only learn about other cultures, but it helps you appreciate your own culture. That's what I learned when I came here to Vietnam. It was very eye-opening, because I always just thought of my culture as the only culture, and I had nothing to relate it to, or compare it to, right? So when you go to a new culture, you finally have a reference and a way to compare, and it gives you perspective on things, and I think it really makes you appreciate where you came from, and it's just good. It's just good experience. Vietnam is a great place to live, but it's always good to go some new places and experience new things. So great, thank you, Daly, for your comment. Phoenix says, "What do we need when we start studying IELTS? Good question. So, if you are a beginner, I don't think you're a beginner yet, Phoenix. I think you already have a foundation of English. But, if you're still struggling with the basics of English, you shouldn't worry about IELTS right away. You should do traditional standard English lessons in your classes, general English, build your general English proficiency, vocab, grammar, and pronunciation, and then move to some skills lessons and build your foundation. Once you have a good foundation of general English, then it's time to move to IELTS. And there really isn't like one way to study IELTS. There are people who get high band scores and they don't study IELTS at all. They just do whatever they want to do. They just go on YouTube and watch movies and practice with their friends. Like, there are people I read about a few months ago, the girl from Hanoi who got IELTS 8.0. And they wrote an article about her. And she said, I didn't study at all. I just kept doing what I normally did. And, in the end, IELTS is just a test of your English proficiency. It's not a test for a specific, knowledge base. It's just your English proficiency. But, there are strategies, like focusing on the different skills, speaking, writing, reading, and listening, doing traditional like vocab lessons and building vocab that is proven to, likely be on the IELTS test, right? Learning idioms, learning the test-taking strategies, the tips, the tricks, the techniques. And the main thing with IELTS is not trying to guess what is going to be on the test, right? A lot of people try to rehearse or try to choose questions or topics that they anticipate will be on the test, but that's very hard to do. They make the test so that nobody can do that. So you can't really do that. You really should just try to build your general English proficiency, learn about the test, learn about the types of questions, the timing, the tips, the tricks, the strategies, and the main thing is to have what I call a toolbox, right? So this is like a box, like a reserve of techniques that you can use if you get into trouble, right? If you get a question that you're not prepared for, what can you take out of your toolbox to help you deal with those situations? Because that's likely to happen, especially like with speaking, right? It's very spontaneous. It's in the moment. So if you have some techniques, for example, who, what, where, when, why, and how, right? If you can take that out, if you're struggling to say something, then having a really developed toolbox, that's really one of the most important things. Good job, Phoenix. Thank you. All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Today we're going to do some pronunciation first. So let's see if you can see this. I don't know if it's, is it mirrored? Okay, there we go. Okay, so these are minimal pairs. Ending sound, minimal pairs, okay? First we'll practice speaking them, then we will play a little game. Hello, Alice. So Alice says, can we say, I don't know, to protect the environment? So you're talking about if you get a question, how do we protect the environment, right? So, and then you're asking, can we say, I don't know how to protect the environment? Yes, that's a great answer. right? Like, yeah, that's totally natural, but try to expand on that a little bit, right? So that would be more of like first of all, that might be somewhat of a writing question, a task two writing question, but that could be a question for like part three speaking. In your opinion, what are some ways that we could protect the environment? Yeah, that's possible. And you could say that, well, to be honest, I'm not quite sure how I would protect the environment. In my hometown, there is a problem with pollution. I see trash and garbage on the roads. So it would be great if, people could clean that up, or maybe we could hire some people to clean up the side of the road and clean up the rivers. But I haven't studied this, so I'm not an expert on environmental protection. I think it's important that we choose people who are experienced in this. Yeah, that's totally fine. Again, IELTS speaking is not about testing your expertise, right? It's testing your English. So if you want to answer that question like that, that's totally fine. Yeah, good question, Alice. All right, yes, I did take this for my children. It is a kid's board, but I think it works okay, right? You can see it. Okay, so repeat after me, everyone. We have back, back, bag, bag. Hat, hat. Had, had. Number 5, bus, bus. Number 6, buzz, buzz. 7, thin, thin. Number 8, thing, thing. Number 9, am. And 0, an. Okay? So these are minimal pair ending sounds that are quite difficult for Vietnamese students. So we will repeat one more time, then we will play the game. Okay, here we go. Back, bag, hat, had, bus, buzz, thin, thing, am, an. Okay, so now we will play the game. So I will tell you a phone number. I will tell you my childhood home phone number from my home in Chicago. I remember it. So this was my phone number, but I'm going to say the word. And you have to write down the number. And when we're finished, you can enter the number into the chat. And the winner will get a high five. Okay? So here we go. My childhood phone number was thing, had, thin, thin, bag, buzz, an, bus, bag, hat. Okay, one more time. My phone number was thing, had, thin, bag, buzz, an, bus, bag, buzz. So what was my phone number? Anybody? No? So, okay, one more time. Thing, had, thin, bag, bus, had. Oh, sorry, I messed up. No, that wasn't it. Okay, again, ready? Thing, had, thin, bag, buzz, an, bus, bag, buzz. What is the number? Anyone? Okay. We'll stop that there. Eight 847-726-0526. One question, one number wrong. Number 6 is wrong. It was a 3. 0523. I think you thought the hat was a 6. Hat is 3. Good job, Daily. Excellent. Very good. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining the live stream. So we did some pronunciation practice. Also on our IELTS Hackers platform, we do have pronunciation practice. We do a lot of minimal pairs and tongue twisters. So those two strategies I really think are good for pronunciation. So for minimal pairs, for example, back, bag, right? We're able to tune our ears to those differences in consonant ending sounds, the g and the k ending sounds. And remember, with pronunciation, your ears are tuned in, are connected with your speaking, right? So the better that we can tune our ears to those differences in sounds, it's going to help our pronunciation better, right? It's going to help our listening better too. And then, tongue twisters like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, right? Or Susie sold seashells by the seashore. These are good to kind of exercise your mouth. Hello, hearts. Thanks for joining. All right, so now that we did some pronunciation practice, hello, Dao, welcome. If you guys have any questions, please feel free. I will answer your questions. Yeah, sure, Hugh. Absolutely. So I will start answering a few IELTS questions, and then I will open it up to the group here, and you guys can answer some questions. So we'll start with IELTS speaking part 1. IELTS speaking part 1, that is the interview, like introduction and interview. Okay, so the first topic will be home. Hello, Van Van. So IELTS speaking part 1. Topic is home. Question is, what kind of accommodation do you prefer living in? Personally, I prefer living in a house. I've lived in an apartment before, but I found the small space uncomfortable, and I get a little claustrophobic in close spaces. Also, I really love the idea of having a garden and an outside space to do activities and to look at nature. So I would say that I would really prefer living in a house compared to an apartment. That's it. Easy, right? Doesn't have to be a long answer for part 1. Simple, 3 or 4 questions, or sorry, 3 or 4 sentences, and that's it. Okay, so Mr. Min Hugh wants to try. Okay, Min Hugh.
Hello,
Hello, how are you today?
I'm really glad today because I joined your live and I have a chance to practice IELTS speaking with
Okay, so let's do the same question. Are you ready?
yes.
So, what kind of accommodation do you live in?
Personally, I want to live in a skyscraper because I want to see the hustle and bustle of the city from a high distance.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
simple, easy. Yeah, that was good. I want to live. Can you, what did you say after that? I want to live in a skyscraper. And then what did you say?
And I want to see the hustle and bustle of the city from a high distance.
Good, good. Yeah. So the pronunciation there is a little off. You're doing a sh sound, hustle, bustle, but it is a s sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hustle, bustle. So
Hustle.
say again.
Hustle, bustle.
You're still doing a little sh sound. It's a s, so you want to widen it out. S,
Yeah,
hustle.
hustle, hustle,
That's
and
it.
yeah,
Yes. Yes. I want to see the hustle and bustle from what did you say?
uh, from a high distance view.
From a high distance. Yeah, good. That's fine. A little more advanced, you could say from a high vantage point. Do you know that term, vantage point?
Yes,
Yeah, so just a little bit more advanced vocabulary there. So, yeah, I would prefer living in a skyscraper because I want to view the hustle and bustle of the city from a high vantage point. That's a really
yeah.
excellent answer. Good job, Hugh. Thank you, Hugh. All right, let's try the next one. How about work? Okay. So the first question is, what do you do? And then what are your responsibilities? So Hugh, you can answer that one too. So
Yeah.
first off, Hugh, what do you do?
Currently, I'm a student and I am study at Bihar Gifted High School, which known for, which is one of the most famous school in my province. And I major in information technology.
And what are your responsibilities as a student?
We need to studying, revise for exam, and sometimes we can engage in extracurricular activities like sport or some game show in my school.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Great answers, Hugh. Your English is good. I would just work a little bit on your grammar. Like you used present continuous there, studying, when you should have just used present simple, study. My responsibility is to study, not is to studying. Just a small little thing there. And then some little things with your pronunciation. But overall, you have really solid fluency and good vocabulary. Like you use some advanced vocabulary. You have a great spirit. I know that you're probably practicing a lot. You're willing to come on here in a live stream and speak in front of strangers. So you got a great attitude. I have no doubt that you'll do well. So really great. So good job, Hugh. Thank you. We'll give somebody else a chance now. So that was great by Hugh. Let me just give an answer for the students out there for this question. So many of you, I know, I'm sure, are students. So I will act as a student. I'm not a student, but I will act as a student and I will answer that question. First, what do you do? And what are your responsibilities as a student? Okay, so the question is, so what do you do? Well, I'm not working now. I'm actually a student. I am a sophomore, so I am in my second year at RMIT University, one of the most prestigious universities in all of Vietnam. Okay. What are your responsibilities as a student? Well, first and foremost, my responsibility is to get high scores on my exams, my homework, and projects. So that's my main goal, is to achieve high scores, get a high GPA. But there's some other auxiliary goals that I have and responsibilities that I have as a student, such as engaging in extracurricular activities, making friends. I would like to have a girlfriend someday, but now I'm pretty busy, right? Something like that. So, you can be a little fun. If you make the examiner laugh, which is probably hard to do just because they're probably bored and tired and they just want to go home and they've been speaking to 20 different people all day giving the same answers. So if you can make them laugh, that is great. That's going to be beneficial for you. So, all right. So hello, Van Van. Van Van says, how can I understand IELTS listening? So tell me, Van, what particularly are you, or what specifically are you having trouble with the IELTS listening? I mean, it's a little bit difficult to answer that question. I'll do my best, but you try to give me some more specific problems that you are having with IELTS listening, and I'll try to help you. So with IELTS listening, a lot of people come to me and say they have problems with IELTS listening, and there are many reasons for that. For one, you can only listen one time, so oftentimes the track goes by and you miss a lot and you don't know what to write down for the answers. One big problem is it isn't your listening skills. One big problem students have is they just haven't built up their vocabulary enough. That's it. Like, they are not recognizing the words. So it doesn't matter how good your listening skills are. If you don't have enough vocabulary, you're not going to recognize the words in the listening. So that's the number one thing. I know it sounds very simple, right? Like, you know, we talk about skimming and scanning and listening for key words and, you know, looking at the questions and trying to find techniques. Yeah, that's important, but not as important as your overall base of vocabulary. Because if you don't have enough vocabulary, it's just going to sound like gibberish to you. You're just going to be like, wow, wow, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's just going to be nonsense, right? And no amount of skill is going to help you. So building your vocabulary enough in those specific IELTS listening topics. You know, there's going to be a conversation related to education for the academic listening test. So you need to know those that vocabulary related to education, right? Lectures, you know, and essays and different academic words, educational words, things like that. So you need to know about that. That's the most important thing. And then, yeah, skimming and scanning, and, you know, looking at the questions first, predicting what words are going to be in those blanks, right? Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Is it a verb? Is it a number? Is it a proper noun? Is it a name? Is it an adverb? Right? Like, that's really important. You know, looking at the questions, you have some time, and trying to predict what is in there. So if you see a blank and you're sure there's going to be a noun in there, just naturally your ears are going to pick up and try to pick out those nouns. So those would be my two top tips. Building your overall vocabulary base, and then predicting, word prediction, okay? So Minhyu asks, how can I improve my pronunciation? So like I said, minimal pairs are one of the best ways, right? So like you had trouble with the hustle and bustle. So that's a middle consonant s sound. So you know now you have trouble with those s and sh sounds, which is very common in Vietnam, the s and sh. So let me look up what are some other s and sh sound minimal pairs. So, for example, si and she, right? Ending sounds, boss, bosh, boss, bosh, right? So practicing those minimal pairs with the s and the sh sound, that's going to help you with those. So at your level, you're already quite good at pronunciation, Hugh. So you need to identify with your teacher or with your classmates or with your friends or even yourself by recording or using an app, and identify what are your problems with pronunciation and try to fix those problems, because you're already quite good, you're already quite fluent, but you may have some little problems with specific sounds, right? So you need to find those and then drill, boss, bosh, seat, sheet, sock, shock, right? Save, shave, and just do those minimal pairs over and over and over again. There's that tongue twister, she sells seashells by the seashore, right? So you can just try to say that really fast and really perfect. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore, right? And try to just master that sound, and then you'll be good, and then move on to the next problem. So, and then, you know, like listening to native speakers and try to mimic them, right? It's not just about the sounds, it's about the intonation, right? The ups and the downs, right? And word stress, sentence stress, showing emotion, pausing. You know, see, like when I'm listening, I'm kind of dragging out the different options in the list, right? So like that's kind of like intonation. So listening to native speakers, listening to movies, YouTube videos, and try to mimic them. That's going to help you a lot. Okay, Hugh? Good luck to you, Hugh. Hello, Strawberry. Toic. Hello, Leo. Thanks for joining. I'm teacher Alex. So I am the director of the IELTS Hackers platform. And today we're going to do some speaking practice. We were doing a live stream before, but my battery on my phone died. So we're trying again. So we're going to do some IELTS speaking practice. And I'll invite some people to join. Yes, Hugh, I know my battery on my phone died. I don't know, my charger is not working very well right now. So thank you for coming back, Hugh. That's great. All right, so let's pick off where we left off. We're doing some IELTS speaking questions. So we were doing some IELTS part 1, but that's easy. Everybody can do IELTS part 1. I think I could do a Vietnamese version of part 1. Vietnamese IELTS part 1. I think I could do it. So that's too easy. We'll move on to IELTS speaking part 2, the individual long turn. Okay, so as you know, IELTS speaking part 2, they will give you a piece of paper with a prompt. Okay, this is not a question, this is a prompt. So it's telling you what they want you to talk about. For example, describe a traditional food in your country, right? Or talk about a time where somebody you didn't know helped you. You should say this, and this, and that's it. It's a prompt card. It's a cue card. So then you have 1 minute to prepare. You can take some notes and think if you want. You don't need to, but you should, right? You should take at least a minute to just relax. Take a few notes if you want and think a little bit. And then you will try to speak for up to 2 minutes about that topic. And, you know, a minute and a half is okay too. Like, it doesn't absolutely have to be 2 minutes. You don't want to do under a minute though, right? That could hurt your fluency and coherence score. So you want to be over a minute at least, you know, around 1.5 to 2 minutes. That's good. If you're continuing to talk after 2 minutes, they will stop you, right? So after that 2 minute mark, they will not let you keep going. They will stop you. And that's okay too. That's not a problem. If you happen to go over and they stop you, don't worry about that. That's probably a good thing, right? And one more thing I will tell you about part 2 is they may, not always, but they may ask you a follow-up question. This is to make sure you didn't rehearse your answer. So they might ask you a few little questions about what you talked about, just so that they make sure you didn't just memorize a part 2 answer and then speak it. So not many people realize that. They think you just move on to part 3, and usually that may be the case, but sometimes they may ask you a follow-up question. Okay? Hello Nam, hello Kim Tu, hello Now Thong Minh Doi Thân, hello Gok Nhau, hello Neri Din. Welcome to the IELTS Hackers TikTok live stream. I'm teacher Alex. So we're going to do some part 2 questions. So here's a question. I will do it first. Hello, Nga. I will do the answer first, and then I will invite somebody to join the multi-guest and give an answer to the question. So if you want to join and answer this question, just request that on TikTok here, and I will choose you, and you can answer the question after me. So I want to just, answer some of these just to show you what a native speaker how a native speaker might answer these. I'm not trying to brag or anything and show people how much better at English I am. I just want to show you guys how maybe a native speaker might answer these. Whenever you're learning new things, it's good to practice with people who are better than you at something. I like tennis. I like to play tennis. I don't want to play tennis with people who are worse than me, right? It's good for my ego, right? Because I can just keep winning, but that's not going to help me get better. I want to play with people who are better, who kill me every time, because although I lose, I grow. So it's good to listen to English speakers do these questions who might be better. Obviously I'm going to be better. It's my native language. I grew up speaking it, right? So just like with Vietnamese, you guys would answer these questions so easily. So I'll answer a few of these, then I will open it up to you guys, and you guys can answer some of these too. Okay, so part 2 question. Talk about a journey you once took. You should say where you went, how you traveled, what you saw during the journey, and explain why this journey was memorable. Okay? So I'll just think for 10 seconds, okay? I'm not going to take 1 whole minute, so let me just think. Okay, I got it. So, you asked me to talk about a journey that I took. So I'm going to talk about a time that I went with my friends on a canoe trip on the Flambeau River in Wisconsin, America. So this is a river in the North Woods, about 8-hour drive north from Chicago. So, Chicago's a big city. So we took a car together and we drove up 8 hours north to the woods, right? These are the dense forests of Wisconsin. A lot of wildlife, very remote, not a lot of people. So we rented a canoe. We had the guide ferry us up the river about 4 days. So it was about 3-4 hour shuttle bus. Sorry, it wasn't a ferry, it was a shuttle bus. He shuttled us up 4 days up the river. So maybe about, 50 miles up the river. And then we took out the canoe. We packed up all of our gear, all of our food, and we went down the river to where we would end about 5 days later, where our car was. So this was just an incredible journey with my friends. We saw wildlife, we saw bear, we were drinking beer, we were young kids on the river. I think we were in high school, and it was during the summer. So this was an adventure, and we saw bear, we saw porcupine, we saw eagles, bald eagles, the famous bird in America. We were fishing. It was just so fun. It was frightening at times. We were going through rapids in the river. So, and we weren't experienced canoers. So we would go through these rapids, and at one point we tipped, and we lost a lot of our stuff. It was very cold water. But overall, I just look back, and, it was such an incredible memory. And it's something I'll always remember, the time I had with my friends, on the river. At nighttime, we would build a huge bonfire, and just tell stories. And, we were drinking, we were 18. So we were getting rowdy and yelling into the forest. So it was such an amazing adventure. And I know that my friends would probably share that too. So, all right, so that's it. That was my answer. It was from the heart. I wasn't trying to give a perfect IELTS answer, right? I didn't really use many idioms or advanced vocabulary, but that answer probably would give a high score just because of the grammar, the fluency and coherence, the pronunciation. Vocab maybe wouldn't have been, super high, maybe a 7 or an 8, but the other criteria maybe would have been higher. So that was my answer. Hope you liked it. All right, anybody want to try? I know Hugh gave last time. Anybody want to try? Okay, Iceman.
Oh, hi, teacher.
How are you?
Yes, I'm good.
So, would you like to answer that question again?
Could you please pardon because I have just joined.
Sure. Okay, so this is an IELTS Part 2 question.
Okay.
The question is, talk about a memorable journey that you once took. Okay, so you should say, where did you go? How did you get there? What did you see? And why it was so memorable to you. Okay, so you just talk about a trip that you took. Try to speak for up to 2 minutes. Okay?
Okay. I can start right now.
If you want to take a few seconds to prepare, that's okay. Or you can just keep.
No, no. I think that is too dilly-dallying.
Dilly dally. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good word. Dilly dally. You don't want to dilly dally. So you want to just answer right away. Excellent, Iceman. I like it. Go ahead.
Okay. Today I'm gonna tell you about my memorable trip which I have made. This is the trip which me and my family pay a visit to Da Nang. Da Nang is one of the most beautiful scenic in Vietnam. It's located in the southern of Vietnam. It was when I joined transition exam. Vietnamese students are required to join the exam as an evaluation of their background knowledge from secondary school. As well, I was up to the years with a dozen revisions from school and extra classes. So needless to say, I needed to let my head down, and that is the reason why um, my parent gave me this trip as a present, you know, and I spend I just I know let me check. I spent nearly 5 days here and enjoyed every moment from food, uh, have a big have a big like what? Try many dishes which special dish here. This called it's called chả bún chả. I don't know the real name of it, and it was a wonderful time which I spent with my family. I hope in someday in the future, if I had a, if I have a chance to get there, I will bring all my friends to enjoy this moment with me once more time.
Very good, Iceman. High five to you. Very good. High
Thank you a
five.
lot.
That was good. You have great English, Iceman. You're very confident, which is important. Your pronunciation is very clear. Your consonant sounds, your ending sounds. That is one of your strengths, is your pronunciation. Also, your vocabulary. You use some really good vocabulary. You said, like, needless to say, I needed to let my hair down. Wow. That's like very native English level vocab right there. So you've obviously learned some of these, phrases, collocations, idioms. That's great. Um, Grammar could be a little bit improved. You didn't make like many mistakes. So I'm just trying to help you on how you can boost your score, because already that was a high scoring answer. Like I would say, 7 at least for that answer. But to get higher band score, you could use more varied, more advanced grammar. So, like when you were talking about the situation with your school, right? So you were using past tense, you were in the past, right? So what you want to do is try to use past simple, present perfect, and past perfect, and maybe past continuous too. If you could use those 4 tenses when you're setting up the scene, that's going to be like, whoa, 8, 9 level band score. So let me see if I can give you an example. So, like, okay, I was a student at that time. I had completed my exam, right? So that's past perfect, right? So I use past and then past perfect, right? And then present. So like talking about Da Nang, I have been to Da Nang many times before, but this time I went because I had just finished school. I had just finished, right? Past perfect. We're in the past and we're our past self. We're talking about our past self, but then we're using a situation in the past leading up to that person in the past, right? So that is advanced grammar. And if you can use all of those tenses together, practice that, right? Like, okay, look at how could I incorporate past simple, past continuous, present perfect, and past perfect into this introduction. And if you practice that, you're going to get better at grammar. So yeah, that would be my tip for you, but already really great.
Yeah, thank you for a lot. Well, I have one question because
Okay.
this is first time I have a speech which face to face talking to you, but although I just turn off my camera because of my sinus. But where you from?
I'm from America. I'm from Chicago.
Oh,
Yeah.
is
But
that
I've lived in Kanta for almost 10 years now.
Oh, why don't you move to Ho Chi Minh City, which is the main city of my country.
Is that where you live?
Well, now I live in Bến Tre.
Oh, Bantrea. That's nice. Yeah, I've lived
Yeah.
in Ho Chi Minh before, and I do like it there. And actually, I do visit Ho Chi Minh quite often for work. So I do enjoy that. But to be honest, I love Kanta City. It's such a wonderful city. It's very traditional, and quiet. And I've built up a big base of friends, and my family's here now. I think it's a good place to raise a family. So, yeah, I'm quite happy here in Kanta, but I do come to Ho Chi Minh quite often.
Based on my knowledge, living in Ho Chi Minh costs an arm and leg. It require you pay the amount of money to your uh, housing, also pay for many water, electricity like that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's true. I wouldn't go so far. I mean, compared to every other city except for Hanoi, yeah, it could cost an arm and a leg. But compared to the rest of the world, it is somewhat affordable to live in Ho Chi Minh. But great idiom there, Iceman. Costs an arm and a leg, right? If you live in Ho Chi Minh City, you may need to tighten the belt buckle, right? To live. Yes, good idioms,
What?
Iceman.
Could you please pardon? What? the belt you could.
Is that tighten the belt? Yeah, tighten the belt. It just means you need to like cut back on spending. So you can think about your belt, right? Like if you don't have much money, you have to not eat so much, and then your belt gets smaller. So you have to tighten your
Oh,
belt, right? So that's where that idiom comes from. It just means you need to save your money. You can't spend so much money. So we can use that idiom. I don't have much money. I need to tighten my belt.
taking my belt.
Tighten, like tight. You know, tight?
Tie the knot.
So the verb is tighten.
Oh,
Very
tighten the
good.
belt.
Heap.
Oh.
Thank you, Henry. Heap.
Well, if you have a chance to come to my province, it's been rare. Uh, well, I may have a special dish for you, which is coconut tree.
Coconut what?
Coconut tree, which is
Coconut
my
tree.
yeah special the special things of my
Okay, that
country.
sounds great. Thanks, Iceman. I will maybe I will take you up on that offer.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you a lot.
Thanks, Iceman. Have a
Good,
great day. Great answer. Good luck to you.
goodbye,
Bye-bye.
teacher.
Okay, so we have some guests who want to join. So we'll move on to some part 3 questions now. I will answer one, and then I will invite one of you guys to answer. So let's move on to part 3. Okay, so here's a common one. The topic is globalization. This is a difficult one here, okay? So the question is, what are the positive and negative impacts of globalization? Positive and negative impacts of, yeah, it is difficult, Hugh. So also another way they could phrase this answer is what are the advantages and disadvantages to globalization? Okay, so I will give you an answer and then I will let somebody else do that. Hello, Tao. Hello, Goidi V. Yes, Iceman. So it varies our schedule. Usually it's Friday, but this week we will be doing a live stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. Me and my partner, Mr. Chi Wilson. He will be joining me. We'll do a kind of a talk show together, play some games, and have a topic tomorrow at 3 p.m. So please join us. Okay, so back to the question. Globalization, part 3, IELTS, speaking. What are the positive and negative impacts of globalization? I will give you an answer, and then I will let you answer. Okay. So increasingly, globalization has become a part of all of our lives in the present moment. I would say that there are both advantages and disadvantages to a increasingly globalized world. For one, more job opportunities, right? So the world is so closely linked together. I no longer have to only work and look for job opportunities in my local area, right? There are opportunities abroad. There's remote work that I can look for online. So more job opportunities is definitely an advantage to globalization. Another advantage is the global economy is so linked together. That means that, if one economy of the world is struggling, some other economies and countries of the world can help pick up the slack, right? So, like, for example, in America, the stock market is strong, and the stock market is interconnected with many markets around the world. What happens when one country is struggling in their economy? Well, they can invest in a international market, and that can help boost their economy. So, in other words, we all rise together, right? If one country is doing well, then we can all benefit to that. And now I'll talk about some disadvantages to globalization. One glaring disadvantage is that some countries may lose their cultural identity. So, for example, in Vietnam, English has become so important, right? Because of this globalized world, many people are in a rush to learn English so they can join the world economy and open up more doors for them. However, this can possibly lose and diminish some of the cultural uniqueness of Vietnamese culture. I don't think that would happen, but that's just one example. Another example is fast food. Although it hasn't really happened much in Vietnam, but if you look at other cultures in Asia, fast food is spreading rapidly and it's taking over what used to be more traditional food, and people are opting for these high calorie, lower cost options, and then that means the traditional food is losing its value. So, all in all, I would say that there are both positive and negative impacts to globalization. However, we should embrace it because it's a trend that really there's no end in sight. So, any way that we can reduce or protect ourselves from these negative impacts, it's just going to benefit us further. Okay, I think that was pretty good. I used some idioms there. I used some transitional phrases. I'm not going to talk about my pronunciation because, yeah, I'm a native speaker, so I don't need to try with pronunciation. But definitely, I have to try with those questions to articulate a good answer, because for part 3, you have to demonstrate, you have to perform a little bit, right? You have to, show a higher level of English than maybe part 1 and part 2, where part 1 is easy. Part 2, you're speaking for length and you're telling a story. Part 3 is abstract ideas, opinions, right? And you need to kind of craft a good answer to answer the question. So, yeah, that was my answer. Hope you liked it. Now I will give someone else a chance. How about Mr. Henry Heap? Henry Heap, are you there?
Hello.
How are you today, Mr. Heap?
I am pretty well. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm great. I think your English may be very good. Are you ready for this question?
Yes, I'm ready.
Good. Okay, so I'll speak it again for the other listeners. Your question is, Mr. Henry, what are the positive and negative impacts of globalization?
So first of all, let's talk about the advantages or the benefits of globalization. So in my personal opinion, I think globalization allows for easier movement of products, services, and capital across the borders, leading to increased trade and economic growth. The second advantages of globalization is the cultural exchange. So, globalization allows for the exchange of ideas, values, and cultural practices among people from different countries, leading to a more diverse and interconnected world. Yeah, and another advantage of globalization that I can think of is it can actually facilitate the spread of technology and innovation, leading to improved communication, productivity, and the quality of life. It also creates new job opportunities in various industries such as manufacturing, services, and technology, leading to the economic growth and development. It also reduced poverty rates in many countries. About in terms of the disadvantages of globalization, I think first, globalization has led to an increase in income inequality within countries, and it also led to increased consumption and production, so resulting in environmental degradation, like pollution and climate change. And the last one, I think that globalization has led to the exploitation of cheap labor in developing countries, as multinational corporations seek to maximize profits by outsourcing production to countries with lower labor cost. Yeah, that's it. It can be quite.
Okay, Henry He. Very good. High five to you, Henry. Yeah, that was great, Henry. However, I think that was rehearsed. I have no doubt that your English is really good. But I could tell, and other examiners will be able to tell if an answer is rehearsed. So that's okay. You're practicing now, and, don't worry about that. But for the test, you want to make sure to, speak from your own heart, right? Like, you don't need to give a perfect answer like that. I mean, that answer was like right from ChatGPT, probably, or like an IELTS textbook. And that's okay. Like, you can get some ideas from that, and get some vocabulary from that. That's fine. But if you're just like doing that from your head, like, they will know for sure, and you'll get a low score for that. So just be careful about that. But great pronunciation, and I mean, those are some difficult words that you pronounced perfectly. Exploitation, degradation. Like, yeah, if you can learn those words, which I think you can, use them, but use them spontaneously, and I think you're a good reader, right? So, read and learn, and then practice and just speak from the heart. Okay, Henry? So
Yeah. So thank you so much for your suggestion.
no problem. Goodbye, Henry. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, let's try another one here. Okay, so hello, Phúc Vinh. All right, so let's choose a different question. Let's do health. That's an easier one. Health. So the topic is health, IELTS speaking part 3. The question is, how important is diet in leading a healthy lifestyle? Sure, Vung, I'll give an answer, and then you can give an answer too. So, again, good evening, Tong. How important is diet in leading a healthy lifestyle? That's a great question. I think it's very relevant to the global epidemic of obesity and health problems related to diet. And really, I think that diet is the most important factor in leading a healthy lifestyle. So, in leading a healthy lifestyle, there are many factors to consider, such as your sleep, your exercise routine, your social relationships, your spiritual relationships, and of course, diet. And I would say that diet is probably number one, because if you have a bad diet, then your whole life is going to suffer. Your physical appearance is going to suffer. Your quality of life is going to suffer. Your relationships may suffer. So if you're going to choose one of those factors, I would say diet probably moves the needle in the furthest compared to the other factors. And I would say that it's important to get a lot of fruits and vegetables and dietary fiber in your diet. That's going to really help your gut health. In addition, it's important to get enough protein in your diet, and just having a balance of macronutrients such as protein, fats, carbohydrates, and of course, getting enough micronutrients with your vitamins, drinking enough water, eating enough calories, not eating so much calories, all of those things combined. And it's important to do your own research. There's a lot of conflicting research out there, and bad suggestions and bad advice out there. So it's important to do your own research and come up with a diet that works for you. That's my answer. I really like that topic of diet and food, and it's such a easy topic for most people because food is interesting to most people, and diet is too, right? So that's a good topic to have, right? Like if you hope to have food topics on your IELTS speaking test for part 1, 2. If you get it for part 2, you should thank the Buddha because you're going to get it for part 3 too. And you got a good question for part 2. So food is always the best. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Vang wants to try. So Bui Tan Vang. There you go.
Hi,
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you ready for your question?
The question about health.
Yes. So the question is, how important is diet in leading a healthy lifestyle?
Okay. So I shall start now.
Go ahead.
Okay, so in my opinion, I think diet is one of the most important thing to make your life healthier. Because first, let's talk about the appearance. Diet will somehow make your appearance like become more beautiful, or for the boys, it is more handsome. And it is important in these days because when you want to get a job, probably there are some HR that they will refer seeing your portrait. Yes, and this this will help you to acquire the job and improve your career opportunity. Yes. And secondly, I think it is about your health. Like once you have the diet, so it means that you will lower the percentage of getting diabetes. And these days, many people like they don't care about diabetes, so it does harm to the appearance, and also it it makes their body become overweight, and like it is hard to like even walk around the city or like play some sport. So I think having a good diet will make your life healthier due to like the opportunity that we can get in the career path, and also like your body, your health. That's it. Actually, I don't have many ideas about this topic, but just randomly, spontaneously come up in my mind.
Well, that was good. Yeah, very good. Sorry, what's your name again? Bui Tan Vung, right? Vung?
Yes, my name is Bùi Thanh Vân.
Vung, great. Yeah, so high five to you. Very good. Great answer. You have good fluency skills. That is a strength. So, and vocabulary. You used a lot of good vocabulary. You know, all in all, your skills are all kind of the same level. Like your pronunciation, your grammar, your vocabulary, your fluency and coherence are all like at a very solid level together. Like no, not one is higher or lower than the others. So you've really built up all of your skills together. So that means you have a very strong foundation to build off of. So that answer was really indicative of more like a IELTS 6.5 style answer. So you're past modest and you're moving into like good. So you're around that good level of English. So like where do you go from here, right? That's always the question for students in your position. You've already gotten to this point where you can answer questions just fine and everyone can clearly understand what you're saying. You made good points. You phrased everything well, and it's fine. So like, where do we go from here? Well, for you, Vung, I would say that the way, like, your examples are great and you phrase them really well, but what you can work on is how to make the points. Like, really, that's kind of like the topic sentence. You know, like when you're writing, you have a topic sentence, then you have supporting sentences and examples, and then you have conclusions. You can work more on your topic sentences, how you kind of introduce your points. Like when you're talking about HR, you're kind of just like telling the story, and that's okay, but you can make a clear phrase that makes your point. So, for example, with that story about HR and how you look, right? You can say something like, nowadays, looks are so important. And first impressions are key. First impressions are key. So that really makes your point that, yeah, you need to look good for HR. That's what you're trying to say, right? So learning some of those phrases or collocations, that's going to help you introduce your point. And then you have your great supporting sentences and examples and your conclusion at the end. That was fine. Like, well, I don't really know much about this topic, but you know, I was just speaking spontaneously. That's fine. That's a good conclusion, actually, I think. But yeah, just learning some of those phrases to really like strongly make your point. That's going to help you. And you know, idioms, like with food questions, there are so many idioms. Like when you're talking about how you look with food, there's the idiom. Well, it's not really an idiom. It's more like a proverb. It's like a lesson. It's you are what you eat.
Yes, yes.
Have you heard that before?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So if you eat pizza and cheeseburgers, you're going to start to look like a cheeseburger, right? You're going to get a big belly and you're going to walk around, right? And you're going to look like a cheeseburger, right? So yeah, that those kind of phrases, if you eat well, you're going to look like $1,000,000, something like that. That's going to help you. But overall, great job, Vung. Thank you for your answer. High five
Yes,
to you.
thank you.
Alrighty, guys. We had some great answers today. So we had a question. Big Ngao asks, I have a question. Is due to used to present the negative reason? No, Ngao. Due to can be used in any situation. It's not really for positive or negative. Due to just means because of. It's just a little bit more fancy, right? Yeah, so due to is not either positive or negative. It can be used for anything. Hello, Jason. Thank you for joining, Jason. All right, guys. So I think that we will stop here today. Tune in tomorrow. We will have another live stream at 3 p.m. Me and my partner, Mr. Chi Wilson. He's a great man. He's a Vietnamese, one of my colleagues here at DSS and IELTS Hackers. We'll be joining together and doing a live stream. We'll have some games. We'll do some topics, and we'll let you guys answer some questions as well. Hello, Chi. Hello, Yip. Hello, Chi. Hello, Yum Hai Bi Mui Dop. Thank you all for joining. Good night. Ngủ ngon. Bye bye.